What's good? We back. www.com. Today's lit for November 11th, 2013. Yeah. Today we're going to break down one of my favorite avatars. The Ebenezer Scrooge Avatar. The Ebenezer Scrooge Avatar is the negative zodiac avatar of the earth signs. If you're an earth sign, that means you're Virgo, Taurus, Capricorn. Those are the earth signs. Now, typically, if you are any type of person, a lot of people say horoscopes don't mean nothing, which is true in certain regards. However, there are certain circumstances that will trigger you to fall into a negative spiral based on your zodiac. So typically everybody wakes up in the morning and they try to have a good day. They try to keep a positive float. But it's certain things that'll come along and trigger you to fall into a negative spiral. If you're an earth sign, your triggers are different from other people's triggers. For example, if you're a fire sign, the things that will trigger you to go into a negative spiral are not the same things as an earth sign. If you're a water sign, if you're an air sign, same thing. The triggers are different depending on what sign you are. So if you're an earth sign, your triggers kind of go like this. The earth signs are tangible people. They're practical people. That means that they don't like a bunch of ideas just floating around without seeing them come into fruition. They're very critical. They're very analytical. A lot of times they overanalyze things. You know, they'll take all day concentrating on one thought. And a lot of that over-analyzing can fall into a negative type of spiral. The Ebenezer Scrooge is a character from a film called A Christmas Carol. And he was rich. He ran business. He was very detail orientated. He had a ton of money, but he was just miserable. He was one of the most miserable bastards in the whole city. Even though he had all this money, he was still just internally he was miserable. So it shows you, you can have a lot of money, you can be rich, but if you still can't change on what's inside of you, if you're still just a miserable person at heart, then it don't matter how much money you get. It don't matter how much tangible items you have, you'll still be a miserable person on the inside. And the Ebenezer Scrooge Avatar is triggered by impractical people. If somebody starts talking about money, or somebody starts talking about big houses, or talking about big ideas coming into fruition, it's certain triggers that'll trigger an earth sign to fall into what appears to look like Scrooge. Scrooge, it was Christmas. If you know the story of Scrooge, it was Christmas time, and people was trying to get him to come to dinners and get him to partake in things and have a good time, sit back, and get the Christmas spirit going. But Scrooge wasn't with it, man. He was like, man, bah, humbug. I'm not on that. I'm tangible items. I don't care about no Christmas holidays, no cheer, no joy. He was straight about money, business, and being on top. And a lot of earth signs kind of fall into that negative spiral when, there's something that comes along and triggers it to happen. If they're at work and somebody's interrupting them, if they're dealing with just really impractical people who talk too much or who ask too many questions, a lot of times they just kind of want to, they have to be on top. Like an earth sign, they got to be number one, especially a Capricorn. Like they have to be the leader. They have to be number one. If not, then it's like they kind of get miserable and they'll kind of over criticize or over analyze the leader, the people who are in charge. If you have an earth sign that's a friend, a lot of times you'll scroll through their Facebook feed and you'll just see nothing but just negative Just, oh, I'm sick of this. Oh, I'm sick of this. I'm tired of this. I'm tired of that. And you know, they'll take the little memes, you know, like the negative memes, like a real man's supposed to do this or a real woman's supposed to do this. And if you're not taking care of your kids, then you ain't shit. And da, da, da. Like, you know, you'll see that kind of stuff like that to an earth sign. Certain, not all earth signs, but certain earth signs, it kind of keep that Scrooge mentality just going. Just bah humbug. Just got something to say about everything. Just, you know, they just come off miserable. Like, you know, just miserable people. And not all earth signs are like this, but this is just when they fall into their negative spiral, what it looks like to somebody who's not an earth sign. Like, if you're an earth sign and you hear another earth sign going off about something, you may be able to relate to that. However, somebody who's not an earth sign, to them, it looked like Scrooge. It looked like, man, why is this person so miserable? Like, you know, what is it going to take to get them to come out of this negative spiral? They'll keep doing the same thing over and over again, too. Like, you know, even if you show them a way to make a change, to get them out of that negative spiral, just what I'm saying, go back to Scrooge. Even though Scrooge had money, he was still internally just messed up. And it wasn't until the ghost of Christmas past, ghost of Christmas future, and the ghost of Christmas present came and showed him, you know, they had to take him back in time. They had to take him into the future, and they had to show him what his friends was really saying in order to get him to realize that, you know, he needed these people that he was mistreating. You know, all these people that he was, you know, he fired a guy on Christmas Day. He, you know, he was yelling at kids and stuff, and he didn't know that he needed them because these were the exact same people that were going to get him out of that negative mind frame. So, you know, this is how a lot of times how earth signs kind of come across. Like, you kind of give them hope, and they'll kind of make fun of you for giving them hope. You know, they'll criticize you for giving them hope. You know, they won't take the hope for face value. They'll kind of, you know, overanalyze it or kind of, you know, overthink it to the point where, you know, the dream aspect, the watery aspect of it, is kind of just, it dissipates. You know, it's no longer hope or joy. It's you know, they need something tangible, like, you know, money or a car or, like, you know, something that's real, like a job. You know, they take a lot of pride in working in their job. You know, they just want to do their job and get paid for it and go home. They don't really want to, you know, partake too much in the politics and, you know, the back and forth. They just want to do their job, go home, you know, over and over and over again, you know. And if advancement comes along with doing that, then, you know, then they'll be glad to get their advancement. But a lot of times they just want to do their work, go home, you know. And that's kind of how Scrooge is. So the more you understand about this, then the more you'll be able to identify it and see it for what it is. You can't judge them. You can't try to change them. You can only just understand it for what it is and, you know, react accordingly. If you are an earth sign, I would suggest that you study the card, the 9 of Pentacles, or the 9 of Coins, which is a tarot card. It kind of gets you to look at yourself and, you know, a lot of times, y'all, the 9 of Coins or the 9 of Pentacles is just kind of symbolizes a guy who's overanalyzing his situation. He's worried, but he's not worried. You know, he's just like, well, you know, if everything works out, that'll be great. If it doesn't, whatever. What can I do? You know, only thing I can do is what I know how to do. So I'm just going to keep doing what I know how to do over and over and over again. You know, you got to know how to change. You got to know how to accept new ideas, new thoughts, and be able to implement them and be able to take on new education, new information, and apply it to what you're doing. You can't keep doing the same thing over and over again and expecting to get a different result. You're going to get the same result every time you keep doing the same thing over and over again. You must learn to change. Think of Scrooge. He had to go into the past, the future, and the present in order to understand that he had to change because he kept doing the same things over and over again. So take it with a grain of salt. It's your boy, K-Blao HoodX. Sign up for hoodx.com. Don't even think about it. If you ain't signed up by now, you're obviously a lame. You probably need to get checked in. Holla at me. Peace. Stop. Hello, stop.